This verse 20, it says, Achan replied, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord Yahweh, the power of Israel. Among the plunder, I saw a beautiful robe from Babylon, 200 silver coins, and a bar of gold weighing more than a pound. I wanted them so much that I took them, and they are hidden in the ground beneath my tent, with the silver buried deeper than the rest." Damn. So he gave up. You know what I mean? He gave up. He couldn't, Jake got that spirit, and this is why, and this is all goes back to the curses. Why you think Jake always taking a stand when he in court? Nah, he did it. That's because that's in his spirit, it's the right thing to do. Right? It's frowned upon because you ain't got no business doing the shit you was doing anyway, and then double backing. It's too late to be thinking wise and trying to do the right thing. Right? Sit that ass on down and deal with the consequences and deal with that judgment that come with that life. But it's in our spirit to naturally want to do right. Right? That word, and you know what? Let me just grab that definition of plain. Salakia. I want to make a strong point here. Genesis 25 and 27. We know Esau was the cunning hunter, but Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Right? The word plain goes back to complete, perfect. One who lacks nothing in physical strength, beauty, sound, and wholesome. And wholesome. Keep the same energy from the beginning. When thou seest evil, it says a prudent man foreseeth the evil and depart from it. Roughly paraphrasing. Right? Roughly paraphrasing. It says an ordinary, quiet sort of person, complete, morally innocent, having integrity, one who is morally and ethically pure. So it's in our spirit to want to do the right thing. But being under these curses in the land of our captivity, with all these different lusts and temptations, right? And in this carnal this kingdom built on carnal principles and everything that's contrary to the Bible, you're put in situations, man, and you want to do the right thing at the last minute. That was Achan. So I wanted to get that for edification's sake. Let's go back to the book of Joshua, finish this out. Where were we? It says, verse 21 again, Joshua 7:21 in the New Living Translation. Among the plunder, I saw a beautiful robe from Babylon, 200 silver coins, and a bar of gold weighing more than a pound. So he racked up. I wanted them so much that I took them. They are hidden in the ground beneath my tent, and the silver buried deeper than the rest. So Joshua sent some men to make a search. They ran to the tent and found the stolen goods and hid it found the stolen goods hidden there, just as Achan had said, with the silver buried beneath the rest. They took the things from the tent and brought them to Joshua and all the Israelites, and they laid them to the ground to present in the presence of the Lord. Then Joshua and all the Israelites took Achan, the silver and the robe and the bar of gold, his sons, his daughters, his cattle, donkeys, sheep, goats, tent, and everything he had, and brought them to the valley of Achor. Right? The valley of Achor. What does the word Achor mean? Edification's sake, I love hitting these trouble, disturbance, as the valley of trouble where Achan and his family were stoned. All right. So the valley of Achor, the valley of trouble or disturbance. So Achan was taken to this valley for judgment. Right. Verse 25. Then Joshua said unto Achan, why have you brought trouble on us? The Lord Yahweh will now bring trouble on you. And all the Israelites stoned Achan and his family and burnt their bodies. They piled a great heap of stones over Achan, which remains this day. That is why the place has been called the Valley of Trouble ever since. So the Lord was no longer angry. Man, that's beautiful. It's judgment. And these things are written again for let's just grab it. And I wanted to hit this, man, because these examples should be more than enough for us to, when shit get hot and heavy, when we feel burdenous, man, and that spirit of doubt creep in, we always supposed to dive into these scriptures, man. Always. It's Romans 15:4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. And that's doesn't need a breakdown, right? These examples written aforetime of our ancestors and forefathers, which are us in the reincarnation, if you can receive it, right? Are to build our faith up, to strengthen our spirit in these times, in this captivity that we're in. These were captive exiles, hasten that we may be loose, man. Right. Let me grab Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 13. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt, holding riches to harm the savor, but those riches perish by evil travail, and he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. That's beautiful. It's in the LT. It says money is put into risky investments that turn sour, and everything is lost. In the end, there is nothing left to pass on to the children. Yeah, because when you moving like this, you ain't gonna have children to pass this shit on to. The Lord put his cattle, his donkeys, his sons, his daughter, they burnt his tents. They did away with his bloodline, gone. Everything that they possessed, gone. The Lord does not play when it comes to his people, man. The Lord don't play. Let me see. I'm gonna grab Proverbs. I'm ready to close out. I didn't want to make this a long lesson. Proverbs 11 and 28. It says, he that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous flourish as a branch. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. So he didn't even have the pleasure of being a servant to the wise. The Lord straight put them they put his whole line to death, man. Achan trusted in his riches and he fell. Along with he put his whole bloodline at risk. Whole bloodline at risk. Let's jump to chapter. What's that? Chapter 23 and 5. It says, without set thine eyes upon that which is not, for riches certainly make themselves wings, they fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Right? You can't put all your eggs in one basket. These riches are hey, set not your treasures, right? Matthew 6 and 19. Lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moths nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And our heart is in our heart is where Yahweh Shai, with this comforter, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures that's going to lead us to salvation. Lord willing, we are accounted. Let me see. I got more. Let me grab a few more. Psalms 52. This is one of my favorite ones. Psalms 52 and 7. It says, lo, this is the man that made not the Most High, Yahweh, his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches and strengthened himself in his wickedness. Now, Achan, this is for the wicked, right? Esau, Edom, the head honcho, the so-called white man, the red man that the Bible speaks of, but it also applies to 2/3 of our people, right? Achan he trusted in his riches opposed to trusting in the Lord. He caused the whole army to start losing wars. And at the end of the day, he was cut off along with his bloodline for not making the Lord his strength in the times of trouble, in the times of war, right? That was a wicked act. We could close out. Let me close out with me jump over 10 chapters. It's Psalm 62 and verse 10. It says, trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. He came up a Babylon garment, almost a pound of gold and 200 silver coins. He thought he was about to invest in, hey, when we make plans, the Lord laughs, man. All right. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. This is the account of Achan. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and GMS who teach and rule well, and peace and salutation to the whole 4 elect. Kwam Yasharallah and the Baba Ball. Shalom.